Have you ever imagined that you would be responsible for the medical debts of your friends and families who are not your spouse or children? I bet you haven't. Well, this is happening. Nursing homes are suing friends, families, whomever to collect on unpaid patients' bills. If you don't believe me, Kaiser Health News, also known as KHN, teamed up with NPR to launch a year-long investigative project that explores the scale, impact, and causes of the healthcare debt crisis in the U.S. This investigation also exposed the illegal practices of nursing homes across the country who are suing friends and family for the patient's healthcare debts. Before I get into this chilling investigation and how to protect yourself and loved ones, let me introduce myself. This is the Legal Code, and on this channel we discuss a wide range of legal topics, whether that's to get your small business to the next level or it's trademarks, copyrights, legal pitfalls to avoid, fraud cases, how to avoid being frauded. We discuss it all here. So if you like that sort of thing, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share with anyone else you think will find value. Also, I am a real life attorney. So if you would like the opportunity to meet with me to discuss some legal concerns that you may be having, you can click the link in the description box. We can go over estate planning, trademarks, whether you should trademark, whether you should copyright, are you exposed to liability, whatever you would like to discuss in the legal consultation, there is a link in the description box. Now, without further ado, let's get into this chilling and disgusting story about the practices of nursing homes. Now, Lucille Brooks, who's one of many victims, received a phone call about 2 years ago, and she learned that she was being sued by a nursing home in her area. Brooks at the time was age 74, a retiree who lived a modest home and modest lifestyle in Rochester, upstate New York. Her brother had been a resident of the nursing home suing her, but she had no control over his money, no authority to make decisions for him. She was not his conservator in any way, a legal guardian. She did not have any power of attorney, nor did she have any legal capacity to act on his behalf, and yet she was being sued for her brother's treatment for nearly $8,000. But unfortunately, Lucille Brooks was not alone and is not alone. Nursing homes across the country have been pursuing unpaid bills by routinely suing residents, friends, families, whomever, in some cases neighbors. This practice has even ensnared children, grandchildren, neighbors, friends, and others, many with no financial ties to the residents or legal responsibility for their debts, but who were just dropping off the patient for care and got stuck with the financial responsibility. This sounds wild. How this might be happening, you may be asking. Well, the nursing home pretty much just throw a bunch of forms at the person dropping off the patient, and that person, panicked, scared, overwhelmed, just sign away without reading the fine print. And they may even be compelled by hospital staff or the nursing home staff to sign in order as a condition for treatment. And there's no explanation as to this clause that ties them to the liability. And these individuals, like I mentioned before, are panicked, don't read, they just sign. And then months or years later, they receive a bill or a letter from an attorney or a phone call letting them know that they have been sued by such and such nursing home or the county, and they are on the hook for the unpaid balance. Why are nursing homes doing this or allowed to do this, you may be asking? Firstly, they're not. This is totally illegal. Yet the nursing home industry has quietly developed what consumer attorneys and patient advocates say is a pernicious strategy of pursuing friends and family of patients, despite the federal law that was enacted to protect and shield these individuals from this sort of debt collection. And despite the federal law that says this is illegal, the level of aggression that nursing homes are using to collect on unpaid debt is just disgusting. And so about 1 in 7 adults who have had healthcare debt say that they've been threatened with lawsuit or arrest. According to this study, also revealed that 5% said that they have been sued by Monroe County. So it looks like Monroe County is doing the bulk of these sorts of lawsuits. This is also where Lucille Brooks lives. So in this county, 24 federally licensed nursing homes have filed 238 debt collection cases from 2018 to 2021, seeking almost $8 million. Nearly 2/3 of those cases are against friends and families. Can you believe this? Nearly 66% of these lawsuits are targeting friends and families in the lawsuit. The friends and family most often are being accused without any documentation. They're being accused of hiding residents' assets, essentially stealing, and the remaining cases targeted residents themselves or their spouses. And in more than 1/3 of those cases, that nursing home filed in Monroe County against friends and relatives, the people being sued had no power of attorney. Therefore, they had no legal access to the residents' money, to pay bills, no authority to act on behalf, and nevertheless, they're on the hook. But nursing homes are grimy. They have been grimy for a very long time and are notorious for going after friends and family for tens of thousands of dollars. In a few cases, debts surpassed $100,000 in Monroe County alone. One nursing home even sued the daughter and granddaughter of a former resident, and the daughter pleaded with the court to release the granddaughter, promising that she would pay the nearly $6,000 debt. Another home sued a woman twice for her husband and then her mother's debt. Yet another claimed a woman owed $82,000 for her mother's care. And the resident was in fact not her mother, but a cousin. So as you can see, this is out of control. And according to court papers, these innocent people believe that they will be subjected to garnishment, losing their own houses and assets, while also being concerned and worried that their loved ones who are still in the nursing home sometimes may be potentially kicked out. This is the epitome of strong arming and exploitation. So how do nursing homes pursue these types of lawsuits? Quite simple. Their legal strategy is often rooted in what are called admission agreements. The piles and piles of paperwork that family and friends sign upon admission of the patient. In that paperwork is a clause that says that this person signing assumes the financial risk. And so this happens in the shadows in an instant. In most cases, the people being sued didn't have any authority. So they sign the piles of paperwork and are unaware and don't realize the financial risk attached to it. In most cases, the people sued don't have an attorney to represent one because, let's face it, it's expensive. And nearly 1/3 of those cases won by the nursing home as a result of default judgment because the defendants never responded. This is a common occurrence. Another occurrence is that in these cases, the lawsuits also see an inflated interest rate of nearly 18% in some cases. So as you can see, the nursing homes exploit the vulnerability of these people who don't have the money to fight a lawsuit, who don't have the resources, and as a result, just give up. And as a result, the nursing home wins a default judgment. Now, they interviewed Beth Martino, a spokesperson for the American Healthcare Association, which is the largest nursing home industry group in the country. And they asked her about these practices, and she said it's very rare, it's not common. Yet consumer attorneys in several states say the opposite, and they say they regularly see these nursing homes strong-arming friends and families. So who do you believe? The consumer attorneys who have panicked people coming into their office frequently, or the representative for the largest nursing home group in the country? It's quite simple who to believe. This scheme is her moneymaker. Are you going to get an unbiased and and truthful answer from her? I doubt it, because this is her modus operandi. It's like asking the fox to guard the hen house. Of course, the fox is going to say, I'm not eating the hens. Yet there's mounting documentation and legal documentation at that prove otherwise. Now, Ahmad Kershavaz, an attorney in New York, has documented these lawsuits around New York City and said nursing homes see adult children as more appealing targets than older residents. Sons and daughters are more likely to have assets and pursue care for their parents. So they'll do anything to make sure they get that care. And the nursing homes know that they have income and could be subject to garnishment. But the sons and daughters aren't aware of this caveat. Now let's look at these admission agreements. Friends and family are pressured into signing these agreements upon the admission of the patient, and there are multiple pages. So nursing homes slip the admission agreement into the paperwork. They often assign the person who signs as the responsible party who will help the nursing home collect payments or enroll the resident in Medicaid, which is the government safety net program. This is crazy to me. As you can see from this admission statement, it says under payment of services. By entering into this agreement, the patient's spouse, and or the patient's responsible party, and undersigned, so that's like a catch-all phrase for anyone who signs these documents. They don't even care if you're friends or family, neighbor, stranger, or taxi driver, that you will be responsible for the payment obligation. This is crazy to me. Next, as you could see in the paragraph below, the undersigned accepts the duty to ensure continuity of payment. This includes, but is not necessarily limited to, Medicaid coverage, if Medicaid coverage becomes necessary. So the person who signs gets tripped up in these documents. You also see how costly below nursing home care at $420 a day. And that's on the low end. I've seen up to $1,000 a day in some states like Alaska. So as you can see, this is exploitative on so many fronts, and they act like they're running a hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, instead of caring for people. And so you may be asking, but this is illegal. What does the law say about this? Federal laws and regulations totally prohibit homes from requiring a resident's relatives or friends to financially guarantee their residents' bills. Facilities cannot even request such guarantees. You are not responsible. This is what the law says. The facility must not request or require a third-party guarantee of payment to the facility as a condition of admission or expedited admission or continued stay in the facility. However, the facility may request and require a resident representative who has legal access to residents' income or resources available to pay for facility care to sign a contract without incurring personal financial liability. So this pretty much says you're not on the hook of your friends and family, but if you have the legal capacity to act on behalf of the resident, you must provide the financials to pay for the resident's care, but you as an individual are not on the hook. Even if you serve as power of attorney or guardian, you must use the patient's assets in order to pay the bills and not your assets. So as you can see, this is clearly stated in law, and yet nursing homes around the country are violating this law, and nothing is being done about it. In some cases, court records show that in Rochester, nursing homes even frequently accuse family and friends of hiding residents' money and property to avoid paying the debts. Now, this allegation in debt law is called fraudulent conveyance. Fraudulent conveyance is the transfer or conveyance of title to real property for the express purpose of putting it beyond the reach of the creditor. In such cases, the creditor may bring a lawsuit to void that transfer. Now, let's be honest, family and friends do sometimes prey on older relatives, taking their bank cards or stealing their property. Check out my video previous video about how family members steal inheritances. But nursing home lawsuits contain almost no documentation to support these sorts of claims. Nursing homes frequently accuse friends and family of these sorts of practices of fraudulent conveyance, even in the absence of any evidence of this practice. So essentially claiming that they took their residents' assets but have no evidence and take this matter to court. Now, Barbara Robinson was accused of fraudulent conveyance, and in Robinson's case there was no records backing up the county's claims, but she was sued by Monroe County 3 years ago for $21,000. Now again, Robinson lives a modest lifestyle on a fixed income, signed papers for her older friend to be admitted to the county home, and she said she helped the staff gather the information, enroll the friend in Medicaid. After the friend died, however, the county accused Robinson of taking her friend's asset. The county provided no documentation of this. Nevertheless, Robinson says there was no money to take, that her friend had spent every single dime, so apparently the friend was a spendthrift. A court ultimately dismissed the case, and the judge on the bench at the time, Judge Deborah Martin, who presided over the case, admonished the county for the lack of evidence. So after all of this, you must be scrambling to know how to protect yourself. It's quite simple. Do not sign anything. If you're dropping off someone from the hospital to the nursing home, don't sign anything. They cannot bar admission or condition admission based on you signing. Any information they need, they can find out by looking up the patient's social security number. If you want to provide that, you can provide that, but refuse to sign anything, and they cannot refuse treatment for refusal to sign. You cannot be compelled to sign anything because the federal law says this. In my practice, I have advocated for several clients to negotiate and reduce Medicaid liens in which the nursing home and the county put a lien on the real property of the resident who had deceased and passed away. So I have a lot of experience in this area, working with the counties, working with nursing homes to reduce these Medicaid liens. So I wanted to come on here and share this information with you so that you can better protect yourself. Share this video with anyone that you know, because nursing homes have touched all of our lives. I'm sure we all know someone that is in a nursing home facility, but they're unaware of the risk and the financial risks that nursing homes impose on people. So that is why I did this video. Please let me know your thoughts. All comments are welcome. Let me know if you've had any experience with nursing homes, if you have older relatives currently in nursing homes and you were aware that the nursing homes were doing these unscrupulous practices. All comments are welcome. Let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share this video with anyone else, because nursing homes have touched all of our lives, and I'm sure this video will help somebody in the long run not get tied up in a lawsuit with a nursing home. And with that being said, I bid you farewell, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.